Today, the top six is sponsored by our friends at Kitbag. You can get up to 65% off of their entire merchandise for a limited time only. The next 8 hours, up to 60% off using promo code CONTROL. You can either use the link in our description below or in the live comment sections, or scan the QR code on the screen right now. Go and check it out. Official football kits covering all the Premier League teams, La Liga teams, and much, much more. Welcome back, everyone. How you all doing, gents? We all good?
Very good. Very good. The sun shines a little bit brighter when West Ham wins, so I'm doing very good.
Very good. Very good. The sun shines a lot brighter when Man United don't play. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, listen, I hear you. How about you, HH? I mean, you took an absolute pounding this week. Pounding this weekend.
Yeah. Look, man, I'm still feeling the effects of Brentford's gentrification and Stamford Bridge, man. So we're just trying to survive, man. So yeah, it ain't great, man. Things at Chelsea ain't great. A lot of problems, man. And what's it called? Werner included. Clown.
Well, we're going to talk Chelsea and what happened, and look ahead of the Champions League game versus Real Madrid. Of course, terrible preparation for that. We are going to look at Man United's current situation, losing again, but of course, fans up in arms today around the Ten Hag news. Players reportedly angry at the dropping or not picking of Marcus Rashford. So we're going to go through all of that in more detail. Of course, look ahead of Arsenal's game tonight after Tottenham winning and discussing that top four race. West Ham keeping themselves in it as well. Of course, that's what Dan's here to speak about as well. And of course, preview and look at the Champions League in general. But loads happened this weekend. It was quite nice just to have football back, boys. I don't know about you, but just actually having proper football back was nice.
Nah, man. Give me the F1, man. I missed the F1 this weekend. Bring it back.
Yeah.
What is Manchester United?
Friendlies can go in the bin. Like, I didn't watch none of the England games.
Yeah, no. So never die. Never did I.
Oh, no, but you guys are lucky. I had to sit down and watch those super pigeons known as Nigeria completely embarrass themselves, complete utter clowns. But no, it's been a horrible week for me, man. Horrible week.
I'm about to say, like, your week has been dreadful in terms of football,
horrible,
isn't it? Like,
horrible, bro. Like watching that World Cup draw, man. Like I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry. But I said these losers really didn't qualify for the whole thing, and then Chelsea get that walk at the bridge, man. Bad week, man. Horrible.
I'm about to say, like, you missed your every 4 year facing Argentina, bro. Like, come on, man.
I know the anniversary's ruined. It's funny. It's the first time I've heard Have Hope just talk so quietly and mellow. And do you know what I mean? The energy's gone. Chelsea.
There's a reason. I mean, it is a bad week, and also I'm recovering from a really bad cold, very, very bad cold. So.
There we go. Did you get that from being at the No to Ricketts protest?
No.
Wait. Was you there? Have Hope?
Nobody
I wasn't
was
there, man. Look, I wasn't there, but look, like my spirits. I was there in spirit.
Are we talking about that today? Are we allowed to talk about that today?
Well, we can talk about it. I mean, it's one of them ones for me. I think the attendance was 39,000 at the weekend. And the protest must have, if it's 200, you're close to maxing out. I was very disappointed that there wasn't 20, 30, 40. I think Chelsea fans yesterday, I don't care what the polls say, the match-going Chelsea fans made themselves heard at the weekend. They don't care whether the Ricketts are their owners or not, for me, because you had a game on. So there's no reason for them not to get there a couple of hours earlier and protest. Like, they were going there. It's not like it was a Monday afternoon and it was raining and they had work. Like, they were going to the game. Like, leave the house an hour and a half earlier and protest. I think the Chelsea fans, the majority of match-going fans, really spoke on Saturday about that.
Do you know what? I think Chelsea fans, if I'm them, I still don't think a lot of them are just stunned and dejected over the Abramovich leaving, that they can't even muster the passion for like this cause of, nothing's even confirmed if this guy's coming in. They've been linked with every owner under the sun, but I can feel that there's probably, like, they've had the wind knocked out of their sails and they're just like, they can't believe the situation that they're in.
I think because it's like, you have to look at a generation, because obviously we're probably old enough to remember when Dean Winders used to be scoring braces against Chelsea back in the 90s and so forth. But if you're of a certain age, all you've known is the Abramovich era. So you didn't know the era when Chelsea were finishing sixth. All they were winning was like either FA Cup or Cup Cup with Zola, Poye, Petrescu, and all those dudes. So for a lot of them, they're like, it's going to be hard to readjust to not having the Abramovich guy there. So it's going to be difficult. But oh, what's going to be like all these other guys? It's like United fans who grew with Fergie, and now you're really like a mid-table team. Like the days of where all United used to do was win, and where Old Trafford was a fortress for United fans. Oh, anybody like the guy who sells fruits down the road can come to Old Trafford and get 3 points down. So it's just hard to readjust to something that you've been so used to for such a long period of time. So,
You know, I think part of it was as well the turnout. I think we saw this with Manchester United, and during the period where we were protesting against the ownership over the Super League. It's about who organizes it, which I find sad, which I find very, very sad. Like, surely it should be a thing where no matter if the fan is from the supporters group or head of the supporters group to the content creator who makes videos on YouTube, or even just a fan from Twitter, if you've got a cause that all of Chelsea fans can see is an issue, surely it doesn't matter who organizes it. It should be everyone coming together and go and protest. But it seems like not just Chelsea, but Man United, Arsenal, all these different football clubs, there's this massive divide in fan bases, no matter what position the club is in, where it's the social media fan or the Twitter fan, or whatever you want to call it, and the match-going fans or the old school fans, or whoever you want to call that. It's like that divide is there, and it's not good, especially when you're supposed to be fighting for the same club that everyone in that like fan base loves, isn't it? So it's a shame that it turned out, because I didn't think much would come up of the protests, and not because I don't think it's a worthy cause, it's just because people are like this, you know. This is what people are like. They like to chat about it, but when it comes to actually doing it, it's a different question altogether.
I think you hit the nail on the head. It is who organized it over who didn't. And look, Matisse and Cons and all those guys and Eunice that pushed it out, very popular in the Chelsea fan base online. But they had little to no response in the build-up to it from the supporters clubs and the trusts and whoever else. And it's ridiculous. And we've, as you say, we've seen it with Man United when Said was organizing his protest. Even other Man United YouTubers that you would expect to be on the same side as one another because they're from the same industry were like, yeah, but I don't want to attach myself to this guy because the supporters clubs and other groups are not backing him, and I want to be on the right side of this. But it's the level of political nature within it is it's ridiculous. Like, it honestly is ridiculous. But I think it was. I was happy to see those guys turn up. I thought overall, it was disappointing, really, especially from the fact that after it finished, within half an hour, that place was full of thousands of people. Like, they had no excuse. And a few people here in the comments. There's one here that says, Terry, an average has a life, Terry. I think you mean an average fan has a life. Not everyone is on social media fan. You think an average 40-year-old fan is going to stand around Stamford Bridge to protest to make no difference? I mean, look, I'm only 4 years away from being 40, so they definitely do use social media. Dan's been over 40 for a good few years now, so I don't know how old Dan is. I'm just making it up.
Nowhere near.
I don't think that's a good enough excuse. It's because the wrong type of fans, in their eyes, in my opinion, were the ones that were arranging it, and we've seen it right across the board. In terms of the game, though, against Brentford, I mean, no one saw that slap coming. What are you, before we go to have hope, what are you rivals saying? Was that a case of a bad day in the office, or is this a sign of things to come, especially if they try and play 4 at the back?
I think it's just a bad day in the office. Let's be honest. We saw this last season. They got that embarrassing 5-2 loss against West Brom. Again, funnily enough, another team that played in yellow and green, but still close enough. But yeah, we've seen that before, and it happens sometimes. Like, not every team can go and beat every single team every single week. Like, these things, that's why it's called a shock result. Like, these things happen. We've seen Chelsea throughout this entire process pick up wins and have good and performances that get the results. So to say like, oh, it's a sign to come, it's like, well, surely we would have seen the signs earlier of things collapsing, because they've been going through this for what, a good month now? This is going on, this whole ownership kind of talk, selling and stuff. So we probably would have seen it earlier if that was the case. So I feel like this is a bad day in the office, shock to the system. And come if they play tomorrow or Wednesday in the Champions League, we'll see a better performance, and then the weekend they'll be fine again.
I mean, that's a horrendous, disastrous day at the office, let alone bad day at the office. I mean, Brentford have not been good for a while, let's be honest. And to get slapped up, I mean, what are they? They're technically rivals, isn't it? It's like a West London derby thing, you know. So I know there's no animosity, but it made me laugh. The funny thing that I took from that was whenever West Ham have had protests, there's all this media talk about, oh, the protest's going to affect the players on the pitch, and is it going to affect the game? Like, no one's been talking about, no one's been connecting. Okay, is the protest affected the players and the fans and all of that? I mean, I don't necessarily. I think, look, if you're doing your stuff outside, I don't see the connection, but it just makes me laugh, the difference in the media. But how they bounce back is going to be the real telling story, I think. That's going to, because this should light a fire under them to go, whoa, like this can't happen again. And if they go to Real Madrid and they get a win, or they put for a good performance and they get a draw or something, it will show you something. But if they go and lose, then it starts to look like, oh, okay, there's a sort of a downward spiral starting to happen, and things can really get messy.
Yeah. What are you saying, have hope? Because is this a flash in the pan, or are you a bit more nervous than that?
No, I'm way more nervous, because for me, it's like, as Cash was saying, it's like, look, you go to when Liverpool got slapped up by Villa, but Aston Villa are still Aston Villa. Yeah, they struggled this season, but it's still Aston Villa, who are still like a legacy team in the Premier League. Brentford, bro, correct me if I'm wrong, Brentford have never been in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's first season.
Yeah, so this is their first ever season in the Premier League. So to get beat so badly, it's not like if it was a fluke. To get beat so badly by a team for the first time ever in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge, and the way in which they did so, where it's like, these were good goals. Like, Chelsea made Ivan Toney look like Iniesta. Pick Iniesta, whether he was just picking out those balls. So my thing though is, here's this reality. Yes, Chelsea was on a great winning run when this whole news broke out and everything. But ask any Chelsea fan and you will get the same answer. When was the last time Chelsea actually played well? Last time Chelsea actually played well was when Chilwell got injured in November, the game against Juve. They did pretty good against Liverpool in the Karabuki Cup final, but last time that Chelsea actually had a great 90 minutes was when Chilwell got injured. Chelsea have just been winning games. They've not actually been playing well. They've just scored more goals than the opposition. So this was an exposition where you finally got shown up, where you've been playing badly, you've now gotten beat. So it is now a massive shock into the system. So a lot of, and like the issue of Kante has not been playing well. That's not been shown up. The whole thing of Havertz, yeah, he can score. He's not a 38 game a season striker. Lukaku not being a striker puts way too much pressure on Havertz that he doesn't need to have. And you can't have Havertz as a striker if you don't have the support system around him. So it is problematic. So I am scared. I am worried, you know. And my thing is, like, I saw this right now, like, if Chelsea don't win the Champions League and they finish below Arsenal, that's a disaster. Like, that is, for me, that is a disaster. So it's man. It's like it's not good, bro. It's not good. It's not good.
I get your feeling, and I understand where you're coming from. I just think that there's no need to overreact. This happened similarly against West Brom. Yes, that you had a man sent off in that game.
Sorry, have you seen Timo Werner?
Look, I understand how bad he is, but I just think there's no need to overly panic. You're a little bit naive. Brent, it was a 10 minutes of madness, and every now and then these kind of results happen. Not to the same degree. I know you were at home and everything else, but when West Ham beat Liverpool earlier on in the year, I know they were away, but West Ham battered them. West Ham was so superior. You've just had this result now, if that makes sense. And I think to overreact and kind of act like that's it, the wheels are coming off. You will beat Real Madrid on Wednesday night. You are better than Real Madrid. You are a better team right now than Real Madrid.
Real Madrid?
Yes, you are.
No, I wouldn't say better team.
How are they not better? They outclassed them last year, and European champions, world champions.
No. Terry, don't.
You are
See,
better than
Terry, see. This is coming from a guy who I try to watch as much of football around and so forth. Now, LSG is LSG. Uber Eats tax. So let's just put PSG to one side because LSG is a whole different proposition right now. But my thing though is Real Madrid, bro. Benzema is the best player in the world right now. Vini Jr. is a damn good player. Say only once more, Drich is still Drich. Drich is still Drich. And what I've always said is that if Loke, aka N'Golo Kante, isn't at his best, we don't beat Real Madrid. The reason why we said what's up to Real Madrid is because of Loke. So without Loke being Loke and that dude, we don't beat them. Real Madrid, no, bro. Those guys are a damn good team. And forget about what happens against Barca. When Real play well, especially bro, if Benzema plays well and Vini plays well, we're screwed. Especially if we go to a back four. So no. Like that's a big game. That's a big game.
It's going to be a lot tighter than we think. It's going to be a lot tighter.
Big game.
I didn't say you're going to run away with it, but you're better than them right now. I still think you are. I think Real Madrid have got some, of course, astoundingly good players, but you'll just listen. Come when we finish Wednesday night and you're on here, and then the second leg, I'll just be sitting there. They're not much better than they're not better than they were last year. They're a year older. They're a year older.
They're better than they were last year. They're better. They're better.
They're winning. They're storming the league this year.
Yeah, no. They're running away. No, they're better. Like they went to good last year. They're better.
But who's been their competition this year? No disrespect. Look, Real Madrid are a good team. I'm not putting them down, but this isn't three-peat level Real Madrid.
No. But Terry, they're
until PSG's arseholes went. Until their arseholes went. Madrid weren't in the game, home or away. They were just there. And then something happened and they came alive because they had the better mentality. And they've got skillful players, but you will outrun and outwork them. You are younger, fitter, stronger.
Okay, Terry, can I ask you this? Let me ask you this, though. If Kante doesn't have a great game, and because Kante has been playing badly, if Kante has a bad game or a mid game, do Chelsea beat Real Madrid?
That's maybe not, but equally, if Benzema has a bad game, there's no way they can beat you. Like you can throw that argument in both directions, but
but you can't do because Kante has been playing badly for the last few months. Benzema has been amazing for the last few months, so there's more of a chance that Kante plays badly than Benzema plays badly.
That's fair. What are you saying, Cole, about Chelsea this week? Do you think they should be fearful of Real Madrid, especially after getting destroyed by Brentford?
No, I don't think they should be fearful of Real Madrid. I think it's a similar story on both sides in terms of sets of fans. You've got Real Madrid who've just come back a couple of games ago after getting spanked by Barca, and obviously Chelsea have just had that lapse there. But I don't necessarily think that means either side should be fearful of each other. I think it'll be a tight, close game. But in this moment, you might say that Real Madrid are probably playing better than Chelsea. But I see the argument of that Chelsea in the last 365 days, they shouldn't be going to this game fearful. They're like Club World Cup champions. They're the holders of the UCL. So they shouldn't be going into the game thinking. And Chelsea fans shouldn't be as fearful. I agree that if they're going with a back four, I would be just as scared for you guys as well, because I don't know what was going on there with Tinkering Tuchel, but he was trying something, didn't work. But I think you're both in similar moments in terms of Real Madrid probably do have the edge in terms of their storming way of La Liga, but then you can argue, they've not really had any competition. Barca have only just coming back. Sevilla were never going to match them for the whole course of La Liga. Whereas Chelsea are third, they've not quite hit the heights they would have wanted to in the Prem. I think there is an opportunity there for Chelsea. It just depends on what Chelsea turns up. And again, whether Benzema's on form and what Madrid turns up. I think they're in similar moments in terms of how they're playing, and it could go either way, but I don't think one team's going to run away with it. I think it'll be tight.
Can we all agree though that Ruger's celebration was absolutely mint on the weekend?
But I love that guy. But
he's so mad.
That celebration gave me 1994 Maradona vibes.
Bro, I love that celebration.
It was a little bit Radio Rental.
No, sorry, do you know what's funny about celebration? Because I remember watching it, thinking that, oh, wow. And as soon as the whistle blew, one of the medical team actually just said, yo, Diego, can you please come this side, please? And he got drug checked after that game. It was against Greece. Yeah.
That was a crazy game. So a few people here saying unbelievable disrespect to Madrid. it really isn't. It really
No,
is.
Terry, it is disrespect. It is.
It isn't disrespectful. It isn't disrespectful for me to state that the current champions of the Champions League, current world champions, a team currently third in the hardest league in the world, a team that seldom concedes goals, with a record in the last 12 months in the Champions League being better than anybody else's in terms of games won, goals conceded. It is not disrespectful to say at this moment in time in the Champions League, I think Chelsea are better. At no point have I said Real Madrid are trash. I've said they're crap. I've said they're overrated. Said they're full of bad players. I'm just stating that saying Chelsea are better doesn't equate Real Madrid are terrible. That would be disrespectful. Again, we don't do that on the football terrace. We do not do childish, weird binary opinions of one thing's good and one thing's bad. It's just, come on now, grow up a bit. Terry talking like Real Madrid and Man United. No, you see, because if it was other, then I'd be saying Chelsea are going to batter them. Although we did draw with them at the bridge, but there we go. Big up to yourself, DJ. I hope you're well, my friend. Terry's just out here pulling legs. Well, you'll see when Real Madrid get knocked out. When Real Madrid get knocked out, you're all going to come back. Oh, you won't say Terry was right. You never do. But it's as simple as that. You know it will be. It's not exactly. It's not disrespectful. The zombie fanatic absolutely gets it. I just want to say a big shout out to everyone that's tuning in right now. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. And a big thank you to Kitbag, who are sponsoring all of Monday's shows on the Football Terrace. You can get up to 65% off of official kits and merchandise right now. You can see all the different teams. We'll click on Chelsea because we're talking about them. Takes you through to their page. Use promo code CONTROL to get up to 65% off football kits, scarves, training gear, and much, much more. Use the link that you can see in our description or the QR code on the screen that you can scan. Now, Man United, it was another awful weekend. I mean, it was beyond awful, to say the least. Terrible performance, terrible attitude from the players, looking crap. Today, though, linked with Ten Hag again, and the stories are crazy. I mean, they range from very close to becoming the new manager through to some of the squad are really excited. Another percentage of the squad are angry and underwhelmed, reportedly. There's now reports that the players are angry that Rashford's not being picked and he should be in the team, especially with no other strikers. Why is this club always in? Even when it comes to picking a new manager, we should be excited. Why is it always turmoil and a mess, KJ? Why?
Because we're run by idiots. That's just the simple answer. Like the simple answer, we're run by wild and fools. Manchester United, for some reason, have mastered the art of taking a simple process and trying to make out like we're doing the greatest thing, that, oh, look at us, we're doing all these right things in the right way because of PR, and then make it look worse. And then just make it look worse. We look more foolish the way we're doing it now than if we just kept our cards close to the chest, didn't reveal too much, and then boom, dropped a manager on us. No one would say anything. No one would have... People have questions of why not talking about the manager, who's he going to be, but we're not going to have this circus of, is it Poch? Is it Enrique? Is it Ten Hag? The players don't want this manager. The players want that manager. It's all a circus, and all of it is in the name of PR, and that's Manchester United, one of the biggest faults. Their commerciality and their PR is greater. Their greater concern for what's actually happening on the football pitch. And to answer your simple answer to your question, we are ran by idiots. We're ran by the wrong people. And we've got a football man coming in place now to tell us, yo, this is what we should be doing. And it's not even holding punches. He's telling us straight. Here's the formula to help you get back on the right track. And yet we still can't trust the club to listen to him actually do it. So it's peak, man.
It is. And look, Dan, from your point of view, I mean, first and foremost, some players suggesting that they're underwhelmed by Ten Hag coming to the club. Like, what's your take? I mean, it's from Samuel Luckhurst, who, if you read the full report, there's lots of positive stuff in the story as well, that it looks like it's closing in. It looks like a matter of time. There are some players that are happy, but still player opinion counting for so much around the appointment of our next manager. Do you think this is a healthy way for a club to be behaving?
No, I mean, look, the player opinion shouldn't matter because most of those players should be gone anyway. There should be very few of those players sit at the club next summer. It's just a weird one with these stories. I don't know about the other neutrals on this panel, but I am so bored of Manchester United these days. I am so bored of Manchester United. The stories, just the repetitiveness of everything that's going on. Before it was intriguing, like, oh, it's imploding from the inside. What's going to happen? Who's going to be the manager? Who's going to leave? And are they going to have a downward spiral? But it's just all that happens is, you tick over, you drop some points here, then you maybe get a win there, and you're always in and around that similar position. You never kick on, but you never completely have a downward spiral, and the stories just repeat themselves. These group of players are unhappy with this, and these group of players are unhappy with night training and this manager. And I don't know whether part of it is just now it's become like just easy for journalists to go, well, this sounds plausible because we've heard these stories before. So now we can say these players are unhappy with Ten Hag because that's believable, because they've been unhappy with night training. They've been unhappy with Ragnick coming in and Ollie leaving, all of this stuff. So, yeah, I just don't know what to believe. All I see is what's on the pitch, and it's the same sort of just averageness. So the summer for me is where it's going to be actually interesting to see what happens, who actually comes in and who actually leaves the club. Because at the moment, I just feel like everyone knows that if you have these stories about Man United, you're selling papers, you're getting clicks. And I think a lot of people are capitalizing on that. So, yeah, it's just one of them things. When I see a little headline about Man United, I just keep scrolling. So I think that's what everyone should do.
Well, I hear you on that. How about yourself, Colin? Like, are you still enjoying the United turmoil, or is it getting boring from your point of view as well?
I'm fed up of it. I'm honestly fed up of hearing of United because it's the same story. It's like exactly what you just said. It's like the same old song every season for the past 9 years. But even to an extent, I almost have an empathy for United fans where it's no longer even funny for me to continue laugh at United. Like if we beat United, it's a different thing. Or if they get spanked somewhere, you can laugh at that. But sometimes I just get a little bit angry. Like the comments that make, whether it's true or not, that players are saying, oh, I don't want this manager, don't want this one on, I'm not digging this training techniques, I'm not liking this, that, and the other. I'm just thinking, who the hell are these players? You're playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world and consistently underperforming. Some of them have been there for how many different coaches and managers? You've had the likes of like David Moyes, who, was picked from Sir Alex, but you wouldn't say he was like a great manager. And then you've had the greats of like Van Gaal, Mourinho, whether they were past it or not, whatever. And then you've tried the method of Ollie. And it's always been the same theme with the players. There's always like a leak of something. Oh, we're not happy with the way this is going. That's why we're so crap at the minute. We're not happy with this. I don't like their methods. It's like they need to get a grip. And you can see it on the pitch. They play like individuals. It just feels like it's all just for their own interest. But you never really know what is true and what isn't true. But you can only assume it's true when they play the way they've been playing. If they're playing well and these things come out, then, you just it kind of goes under the carpet. And if they're playing well, these things don't even come out. So a lot of it is within United's hands. But if it is true, I just think some of the ignorance of some of these players it gets me angry. It's just ridiculous. It's a joke. It literally is a joke. Like, how much can you take as a United fan? If this was my club, I think I would have had a mental breakdown a long time ago. Because honestly, it's every day it's something new. It's like, you're gonna have to start running the same stories.
It's something new, but it's the same thing. So you just go insane because it's just kind of like breaking news. The same thing that happened last week happened again, and you're just like,
someone called it their Groundhog Day, isn't it? That's
it's literally Groundhog Day every single Groundhog years. That's what it's been. People are acting like Man United. Oh, it's a new thing. This is happening. No. It's been almost 10 years. The same cycle happens over and over again. False dawns, false promises, false expectations always come up, and then they come crashing down every 2 to 3 years. And I'm personally tired of it. It's getting jarring. It's getting very tiring. I take my breaks away from the club because otherwise it just makes my life more miserable. And I'm just like, I like my life. I enjoy living good. You know what I mean? And this club does not.
It is. And do you know what's crazy about the whole thing? The way we performed at the weekend was nothing new. I remember when we sacked Ollie and I tweeted something and got I wouldn't say I got cooked because I was right, but it frustrated people. And I said, you do realize the Ollie in, Ollie out debate isn't over. Everything just continues. I still see fans argue, and this is the cycle of Man United from a fan point of view, which is why these stories are so easy to print and believable. And I do think there's elements of truth to them. So I don't think they're lies. It's just for me, it's more, how are we still operating like this and no one's putting their foot down? Pogba's a great example. January 2018, over 4 years ago, his agent was touting him to Man City. Since that transfer window, his agent and his brother have continuously spoke about him leaving. Yet we're still offering him 400 grand a week to stay. That is the equivalence of knowing. I say this about relationships. If your other half is cheating on you and you keep taking them back, there comes a point where I don't feel sorry for you. You become that doormat and it's on you. That's one example of where Man United have become weak. You get it with the players leaking information. The club know who's leaking this information. They're probably just going to give that person a new deal to make them stop for 6 months to a year. But this is the cycle that Man United fans go through every time. New manager comes in. There's initially some excitement and how good may things go. But what we do is we give them a bit of leeway and say they need to build their team. They need to bring quality players into the club. 2, 3, 4 transfer windows go by when we initially sign players, whether it be Memphis, whether it be Morgan Schneiderlin, whether it be Zlatan, whether it be Pogba, Mkhitaryan, and the list goes on. We go, yes, we've improved. It doesn't work, but then we turn on the manager because we've said the squad's now good enough. We turn on the manager. He isn't good enough. Past his best. Dinosaur football. Ollie, whatever we called him. Freestyle FC, whatever the nicknames were. We turn on the manager. We sack the manager. During that turning point, we tell everybody, do you know what? A better manager, a better coach, a more modern day manager could get this team cooking, get this team winning. So the new manager comes in, think, right, here we go. That doesn't work. But because we've backed that manager coming in, the first point of call is, right, squad lacks quality. So then we start attacking the squad. The new manager gets all the new players in that makes us say the squad's good enough. Fouls again. We turn on the manager and say this squad's now good enough. It's the same cycle every single time. That's what's boring for me. The fact the fans haven't got off the hamster wheel yet. They are allowing the Glazers off. So you look at Ollie as an example. Ollie inners and Ollie outers, neither were right. Everybody that focuses on the real problem, which is the Glazers, are what's key here, because that's what the issue with this football club is. All these stories coming out now are a manifestation of how this football club is run. It isn't Ralph's losing grip of the dressing room. It isn't that this specific group of players is insubordinate. It's entrenched in the club for the last 9 years. And until fans vote with their wallets and vote with their feet, there's very little that they're going to be able to do to turn it around and change it. So am I surprised that there are players sitting there saying, well, I don't want Ten Hag? It's got nothing to do. It's a bit like this. When I cook dinner tonight for my kids, when they get home from nursery, they have zero opinion or input into the food that's on the table. You eat or you go hungry. Simple as that. And by the way, they eat it. Like I am very old-fashioned in that way. I believe in democracy to a certain point, but there's times when you've got to be, I think the word I want to use is like autocratic. And when you run a football club, you need to. If I see a player, I don't care if it is. Let's just say it's Ronaldo. Ronnie, it's got nothing to do with you, son. Keep your mouth shut and train. Get back in the sauna, whatever you want to do. Get back on Insta. And that's what we need to get back to as a football club. Does anybody really think that when it comes to making club decisions, Kevin De Bruyne gets an opinion? Mo Salah gets an opinion? Do you think Declan Rice gets to sit in there in board meetings and give his input at West Ham? Do they fuck? And the West Ham are not even the best run club in the world, like with all due respect, like, you know, but you've got things right recently. It's just, honestly, I am bored of it, but I'm more bored that I'm seeing fans sit there all day and just argue, oh, Pogba weren't as bad as Bruno this weekend. Shut up, you tits. You tits.
Actually, can I just, so basically, because I want to ask questions to the United fans, but just very briefly on the whole United thing. As I said again, like, their new name has to be Boychester Divided. You can't call yourself Manchester United. You've got to call yourself Boychester Divided. Now, like, that has to be on your new name. And I think the issue is that United fans, I would say United are a brand. Footballing wise, they're irrelevant. Like, I don't take them seriously as a football team. Like, they're brands. Like, Arsenal is a huge brand. United is a huge brand. But footballing wise, Arsenal, United, Tottenham, you're irrelevant. You're not in footballing elite conversations. So that's there. But here's my question. How bad was Mourinho really? Because no. I'm going to go there because I'm going to defend my guy, Uncle Mo, because people abused my uncle. They insulted my uncle. They lambasted my uncle. They said all this stuff against Uncle Mo. The last guy to win a major trophy for this trash club was Uncle Mo. And a lot of stuff that Mourinho said back then about football heritage is so true. And Mourinho was the last guy who the buck stopped with him. So he was the last guy, as you said, sir. What word did you use? Autocratic. You need a dictatorship. Saddam Hussein. So my thing is, Ole comes in. Okay, relax. Okay, I didn't know. Not in that. Relax. I don't know in that sense. It was an analogy. Relax. It was an analogy. Relax. No. Guys, hold up. I didn't know. No, relax. Relax, guys. Relax. Scratch that. Sorry, edit that out. Edit that out. Edit that out.
I don't think he's available, to be honest. I've heard a rumor.
Sorry, relax. Hold on. No, relax. It was okay. Look, it was a weird analogy. But no. Seriously speaking, Ole was that nice uncle who's like, oh no, do what you want, wreck the house, bring a shotgun to dinner, so forth. It's fine, it's all cool. That's what Ole was. Everybody could do what the hell they want. Like the psychos ran the asylum. What United need is similar to PSG. United's situation is a bit similar to PSG. You need a manager where, oh no, the buck stops with me. I'm that guy. As you said, De Bruyne, Silva, no one cares about these dudes. See, back in the 90s or 2000s, you give me 2-3 superstars, I'm cool. I can win that for you. Give me Baggio, give me Zola, give me Way and so forth. I can win that stuff for you. Right now, who is the star player for Man City? It's not Silva. It's not De Bruyne. It's Pep. Who's the star player for Liverpool? It's not Salah. It's not Van Dijk. It's Klopp. The manager is the superstar, and when they're the superstar, they have to do everything. Klopp, he has his hands in everything. Pep has his hands in everything. Nagelsmann, his hands in everything. All these guys, they have their hands in everything. So if United bring in a Ten Hag, which I still think is tricky because Ten Hag is a philosophy merchant who ain't as good as you think he is. But let's say you bring in Ten Hag. Is he going to have carte blanche? And is he going to be able to do what he wants? Did you even ask Ten Hag whether he wanted to extend Nuno Fernandez's contract?
Listen, and the point you're making about Mourinho is I get it, and you're right about Ten Hag. So the situation will repeat itself with fans. They'll ignore all the issues at the club. They'll focus on Ten Hag being the guy. And if it doesn't work for the reasons you've just said, because they don't create an environment to get the best out of Ten Hag, it would just be the manager was overhyped or the squad isn't good enough, and everybody still ignores the facts. Now, Jose's an interesting case. I remember doing the show with Flex on the Terrace when we were all part of the UFF community. And me and him kind of got into it in a very friendly way. I've always got on with Flex. And I was talking about how I would prefer a manager who has great style and substance of winning things. But Jose Mourinho, give him what he wants and he can deliver those trophies. It may not be the style we all want, but give me substance over style every day of the week. And United fans' argument was, I think we can go and get both. I think we can go and get both. The club listened, maybe not to that debate per se, started pulling the rug from under Jose's feet, stopped him from selling Pogba, stopped him from selling Anthony Martial, wouldn't give him the players that he wanted to create a team in his image that could win. Jose's then problem was he becomes quite toxic in that environment. It became hell on earth for Man United. They had to get rid of him. But the treatment of Jose Mourinho is the reason that we're failing. But we've done it to every single manager. LVG has attacked the club on multiple occasions, stating this is the case. Ole probably will never do it because he's respect for the overarching club. But the issues lie beyond whoever the manager is, beyond who the squads of players are. And I say this to a lot of the younger fans. Everything that's going on right now, all the same debates and challenges have been going on since 2013. And that's my kind of fear and my tiredness in this. It's the same thing again. And instead of people keeping their energy towards the right people, it's always the players, it's always the manager. And it's a case of until we're fixed internally, we're never going to get back to where we want to be. So, yeah, Jose Mourinho was mistreated initially. Doesn't mean he shouldn't have been sacked in the end because his own behavior wasn't right. But he was mistreated. LVG was sacked 6 months before they sacked him, and he knew this. This was common knowledge that as soon as Jose was sacked by Chelsea, the United board were like, we can go and get him, you know. You suddenly, 18 months into a 3-year project, you pull the rug from under LVG's feet. Players stop listening to him. And something Gary Neville said on the overlap the other day, which I do agree with. I haven't agreed with a lot of Gary Neville recently, but he made this point about our club. Stadium crumbling and falling apart, not state of the art anymore. From the best training facilities in the country 22 years ago to one of the worst at this level of things. Tens of millions of pounds a year taken out of the football club in dividends. Debt increasing and never being paid off. Those four what message does that send? Think about all the companies that you've all worked for. If you're in a company where the staff room's horrible, the decor's falling apart, the customer-facing front of the business looks shabby, and every week, every month, every year gets worse and worse and worse. The owners are taking loads of big bonuses out and living the high life, but you lot are left feeding on scraps. What does that do motivational-wise? What does that do in terms of setting the standards of the football club? That's the problem with United. And until fans wake up and realise it, like we're screwed. We really, really are screwed. There's no doubt about it whatsoever for me. Viewers, we want your views and opinions on that. Make sure you're leaving your comments below, smashing that like and that subscribe button as well. I think most of us would agree Man United are probably out of this top 4 race. But there are still at least, there are 3 teams in it really. Dan here, from a West Ham point of view. Before we get on to West Ham and Tottenham, big game for you tonight, Colleen. Arsenal versus Crystal Palace.
Mm-hmm.
The Ammers and the Lily Whites put a lot of pressure on you by winning yesterday. How are you feeling going into this game? Confident, nervous? Where are you at with it?
I mean, I think a lot of people, I think I'm a little bit different to a lot of people. I'm feeling quite confident in terms of, even if we were to lose, I keep saying we're not going to win every game to the end of the season. Neither is Tottenham, West Ham, or United, because if we were, we wouldn't even be in this conversation right now. So I don't see how all of us will keep winning every single game till the end. I'm expecting us to drop points, but as long as it's not against your teams like Crystal Palace and the ones on paper you should win, especially when we've got harder games coming up, such as Tottenham, United, and Chelsea. I have said we're in the driver's seat now. If we're trying to build on this mentality going into next season and starting to solidify ourselves in the top 4 and start challenging for trophies, this kind of pressure is nothing. It's nothing. And the pressure has already been on since we overtook and leapfrogged everyone else into 4th with still games in hand. I am expecting a win tonight. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy game, but I'm not expecting to. We shouldn't be losing. I literally don't care. I honestly don't care about because Tottenham won 5-1 against Newcastle and all this crap. We will go back into 4th with a game in hand. It's very much in our hands what we do. There's very small room for error. Crystal Palace is not the one that I'm having on my sheet where we should be having an error. And if these boys are serious about getting top 4, they will deliver tonight. If they're not serious, then they're not ready and they shouldn't deserve to be in the Champions League. It's as simple as that. I'd have little sympathy for them messing up, to be honest. I don't care where we were at the beginning of the season to now. We are where we are now. So if we go into 6th, if we finish the season 6th, considering where we are now, just for example, are we going to say it's a good season because of where we started from?
I hate this.
Actually, can I ask a question to Lynn? So, if you get slapped up tonight by Palace and Vieira, will you be shocked? If you lose, will you be shocked?
I wouldn't be shocked because I'm expecting us to drop points at some point. I don't think it should be against Crystal Palace. But we're in this position because we have dropped points to teams that we should be winning against. That's why we're all in this kind of conversation. No one's like bang on for full completely pulled away from the pack. That's why we're all in this situation. But we're now getting to nitty gritty. And as you're saying, the pressure's on. And if we want to build going into next season, we should be able to.
I think you make a great point. A few people are pointing out that you beat Palace last one. That isn't the point Colleen's making, if I may. It's what I call a gateway game. It's West Ham and Spurs have won. You've been knocked out of the top 4 position. It's responding by winning. That's something that the Arsenal in the last 5-6 years plus really have struggled with on many, many occasions in the league, when you have to win, when it becomes pivotal to put the pressure back on Tottenham, because lose this game tonight or drop points in this game, and it makes your game in hand against Chelsea even more pressure on it. And I agree with you completely. It's huge in that regard. And Dan, do you see Arsenal now? Do you look at them as a London rival? Do you see them as a different outfit now to maybe where they were like 4 or 5 months ago?
I mean, yeah, obviously compared to 4 or 5 months ago, they've actually started to get some consistency together and look more of a serious team. I've said this on different Arsenal channels. Like, I'm not going to take Arsenal seriously until I see what they do next season back in Europe, because they're whatever happens, even if they miss out on top four, they're going to have European football again. So this season they've had no European football, knocked out straight away in the FA Cup. So they've been playing that one game a week. I want to see how they juggle the European football and the Premier League next season. And if it's the Champions League as well, that's even harder, because sometimes them early rounds of the Europa League, you can rotate maybe a bit, and that's what they might do. But the Champions League, they're going to have to try and go hard in both and then hard in the league to get back into top four. So yeah, that's my question marks on that. But it's interesting. Tonight's going to be, like you said, Terry, big, because of course everyone's going to drop points for sure. I think it's about timing and when you drop points, because sometimes you have that momentum shift. Like I said, if they drop points tonight, Tottenham's in that 4th spot. Suddenly it looks like they're in the driving seat. Like you said, Arsenal have got Chelsea. That's going to be a tough game. That the tide could really turn, but the North London derby, I've said, is going to be huge. Whatever happens, that could really be the deciding factor. But as far as West Ham, we just got to keep ticking along. Obviously, the Europa League, and the team definitely had an eye on the Europa League yesterday against Lyon. That's our priority. But if we can keep picking up points, staying within touching distance, you never know. Like when it comes near the end, if teams falter, maybe it's there to snatch. But I just want to be in that top 6.
You know what's mad, yeah? But it's why the top 4 is so interesting. West Ham have played more games than us and have the same points. But look at the confidence, or look at the hope that he has of doing something. Man United are the same points as West Ham with a game in hand. And we are automatically saying that we're out of it. Like, this is what's so wild about this race, is because how is that possible? How can you say one team is in it with the same amount of points and another team isn't? It makes no sense. And I'm not here saying it's because Man United are actually going to do it. No, I don't think. I think it's done as well. But this is how close it actually is. And Arsenal, if they draw, even if they draw, it's pressure time, because West Ham will smell that. Tottenham definitely will smell that and be like, okay, we got something to go for. Tottenham are hitting the form at the right time. We were bantering them like towards the middle of the season because they're not picking up results. But have you seen the amount of goals they're scoring?
It's crazy.
They're scoring goals and beating teams.
No, wait, but my thing was, are we saying that West Ham are realistically a challenger for top 4? Because I say no. I say no. For me, if I'm West Ham,
when you say not realistic, what do you mean though, have hope? When you say realistic, what do you mean?
Oh no, as in, do we really believe that they can actually get top 4? I don't believe they can.
We're far from favourites. We're like definitely far. What I'm saying is, you can't deny it. There's a possibility there.
There's a possibility.
When you're 3 points off 4th at the same time, and I'm not saying I think we'll get it, because I don't. But as long as we stay within that touching distance, like the Premier League is mad. You've seen it. You just got smacked by Brentford. And that's not even a knock. But I'm saying, like, no one who could have predicted that one of these teams, when we say have won our game and say we go level points and now they have to win and they get smacked by a team they should lose, I don't think we'll get it. But I feel like as long as we're in touching distance, we have to be in the conversation.
But Dan, let me ask you a quick question. Just a quick question for that. So let's say, because I don't know what the fixture's like. So let's just say it's a few days. So let's just say it's like, let's say you have a Premier League game, and a few days after you have that game against Lyon in the Europa League, and let's say a Mikel Antonio, a Lanzini, or Declan Rice, they are not fully fit. So you now have to make a choice as to whether you play them for that EPL game, which could be big for top 4, or you save them for the Europa League game. Because in my view, I feel West Ham should put their focus on the Europa League. Barca are the favourites, but West Ham could win that competition. Based on what they did to Sevilla, a very good team that Barca only beat 1-0, West Ham could. I think that it's crazy. West Ham have a greater chance to win the Europa League than to get top 4.
Yeah, they probably do. And I think Dan just said that they're going to prioritize that as a football club. I feel like the only way West Ham make top four, and I mean this with respect to West Ham, is if Arsenal and Spurs both actually perform quite badly in these last 8 to 10 games, and they keep the door open for them. But the form, when you look at it, Spurs and Arsenal both won 5 of their last 6 games. West Ham only won 3. I think that they'll, by the end of it, I think a sort of 6 to 7 point gap will emerge, especially if West Ham do stay in the Europa League. But we've got to remember, if West Ham end up finishing 6th, which is I think where you will from this point, that's still amazing. Like, considering what you're up against is ridiculously good. You know what I mean?
You know what? I would, if we finish semi-final, get semi-final to the semi-final, and even if we get knocked out by Barca and we get 6th, that's a great season for me when it comes to progression, because we get another go next season, and we've progressed far in Europa League. But on the form thing, Terry, I always say form is temporary. That is the thing. So it's good. Like, you can hit a run of form, to keep that form up over a season. You only really see that from teams like Man City and Liverpool. So there's every chance that teams could get. I mean, Tottenham has been all over.
Mate, even when Leicester won the league, their form the following season was nowhere near as good as, like, you 2 seasons running to be where you are. Pound for pound is 2 of the best seasons I've seen from a team outside the top 6 for a long, long time. Of course, Leicester will be up number 1 because they won the league, but the drop-off the following year was pretty spectacular from that point. Your drop-off, it hasn't been a drop-off. It's about the same, plus you're in the Europa League. And, you know, a lot of Gooners have celebrated the fact that, or kind of said that that's part of the reason they feel that they're in the top 4 races. They had that 1 game a week. You guys haven't had that, and you're still there or thereabouts. It's an astronomical. And if you were to win the Europa League, I really feel like there's a shout for David Moyes to be the manager of the year, because pound for pound has got to come into play here with
such a small squad as well.
It depends on, you know, if a quad happens or a treble happens to somebody, then it's off the cards. But like, pound for pound, like, you've done such a great job there. I've got some super chats I've got to do here. I didn't get to them all earlier, actually. I didn't see all these put away. Drogba is a panel today. Big up football team.
It's a panelist.
Oh, he's a panelist today. Yeah, I think he's trying to
say have hope is Drogba.
Oh, no. Someone thought it was Drogba. When I was walking the streets near my uni, someone said, "Hey, Drogba." I was like, "No, it's not."
Bro, I didn't know Drogba was anemic.
Nah. Because look at his head shape is Drogba-esque.
Drogba's got a bald head as well now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's bald too now, so
proper bald.
There you go.
Sorry, have hope. AJ here says Chelsea have lost 1 game in 3 months. This Chelsea fan seems to forget that we have been a top 5 side for the last 12 months. The hype blinds kids. You're being called a kid by AJ, have hope. You're being called a kid.
AJ, first of all, I'm not a child. Second of all, bro, issues could arise, man. Issues could seriously arise. So, you see, a small thing can become a larger thing in a short space of time. So you have to be wary, bro. Got to be wary.
The priest said to the librarian. A Hassan here says, shout out to my guy HH. Peak Suarez poops on peak Rooney.
Yes, facts.
Wow.
Rooney was a side chick. It was a side chick. I'm sorry, man. Side chick to Van Persie, side chick to Christina, side chick to everyone out there. Sorry, but how many World Cup goals? 2 World Cup goals in how many World Cups? 3 World Cups?
Right, listen. Leave my overweight legend alone, mate. Leave him alone.
Leave him. Comment here says, I'm not going to take Arsenal seriously until they win the league. They are nowhere near the top 4. Nowhere near the league title.
That's a lie, because they are.
Hang on a minute. He's league gunner in America right now. What's going on? Is that league gunner in disguise? What are you saying? Come on. What do you think of that, Colleen? Like, you're nowhere near top 4, and you're not going to be taken seriously until you win a league title.
Just do the maths. Like, I don't need to say anything. Just look at the table. We are near top 4. That's ridiculous.
Table lies. Maths is overrated. Maths can be overrated, man. So.
That's true, because apparently United's second place wasn't a true second place last season. But yet you expected us to be title challengers this season. So it makes complete sense.
Very much in a top 4 race. He's talking nonsense. However, in terms of taken seriously, in terms of like getting back to that level, then no one's going to take us seriously until we win a league title. That's for sure. But to say we're not in top, I think you're trolling. I genuinely think you're trolling. I'm not even going to give it any more thought.
Man United finishing 7th, more humiliating than finishing 8th.
It's Conference League, isn't it? So
it's
that's
Conference
changing.
League. See, here's the thing. Part of me wants to tank. Not gonna lie. If we can get like flipping 3-3 draws every week or something entertaining, I think I would deal with that and come 8th and just literally have and it's just for reality check for the club
Nah,
itself.
you wouldn't want to accept coming 8th. Relax.
No. I wouldn't like
so
it.
Don't say that.
But for the greater good of Manchester United, I believe if you tanked and become as low as you could possibly become, that would hopefully be a wake-up call to the people in charge of that. They're just bad at their job. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want more embarrassment. I'm tired of the embarrassment, so I want to finish as high as possible. I literally, that's the point where I'm at with this club. I don't know what we're gonna do, and I don't know what's the best for us to do either. Like,
it's crazy. To keep them super chats coming, people. Every single Man United player needs a KO blow, literally. I mean, metaphorically, yeah, they do. Like, we don't need any more Will Smith circumstances going on here. No violence, but
Big Willie.
But that's a good album. But they do need a reality check, these Manchester United players. And I've been saying it all weekend. They're like trust fund kids who have never earned that money, but they just feel entitled to it. They're not part of the history of Manchester United, but they act like they've made the history, and it frustrates me. They're so entitled, it's unbelievable. They need a reality check, but the only way that happens is by the football club delivering it to them.
You say that, but I think half these players don't even care, and half of them probably won't even be here come next season. I genuinely feel like some of them don't give a damn where United finish. Like, I generally think that, especially ones that are on their way out.
Cole, you're right though. Cole, you're right. Like 3 seasons running, Pogba's returned from injury, and every time the managers have said, there's been 2 managers in that time, I will come back and give us his all, and he's been bang average, really and truly. You've had like all the excuses in the world given to Marcus Rashford. He isn't getting any better. You've got Maguire. I look at it and think, how bad does he have to be? Forget the captaincy thing for a minute. How bad does he have to be to not be picked? We're performing so badly at the minute. There's no way the academy players would do any worse. Give someone a go. Like the precedent we set on a continual basis towards a club is crazy. Super chat here says, "Hi Terry, my nan's transplant."
Don't read the rest of it. Don't read the rest of it, Terry.
Hank, thank you very much for the super chat, my guy. I appreciate it loads. 7th place doesn't get the Conference League, Terry. Yeah.
If Chelsea, Man City, or Liverpool win the FA Cup, then the Conference League goes down to 7th. If Crystal Palace win it though, we're safe. We're safe.
Actually, did you know what's shocking? I just found out that Sancho is on 350,000 a week.
No, he's not. He's not on 350k. That's
a lie. Okay, how much is he on? It's around 300k.
I swear it's around
for a 21-year-old. 300k.
He's on.
That's messed up.
No, listen, 250 is mad enough as it is. It's not 300 because he would have come in over Martial, Rashford, Bruno at the time as well, and those three. That's just not.
What you're probably finding, and they do this a lot with United players, is they will put together the salary and also their image rights because they're 2 separate payments. They do that a lot. I've seen them do it to Arsenal a little bit recently. As Arsenal got better, they start to talk about transfer fees, agent fees, and salaries, and put them all in together and go, "Oh, the total cost is 110 million." It's like, okay, well, what's the transfer fee? 50. Cool. Well, that's what we want to speak about. But yeah, he's not on 350 grand a week. They lie a lot about salaries. I see that quite a bit. I remember when they said Zlatan was on 400 grand a week. I laughed.
Wait, how much is Rashford on?
250. Wait, it's not 250?
It's 200,000 up
to United's wage structure is a whole
absolutely.
The wage structure is crazy. It really is. The maddest thing is though, we actually spend about 10% less though on salaries out of our turnover than the likes of Arsenal do, but then we're still at pound for pound, we're so much higher. It's crazy. Like, it's something they've got to fix. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Rashford with the right dressing room leader will put him in the right direction.
No. Get this comments off the screen.
Why?
Here's the thing, Rashford he's crap. Like, people just need to admit this. And I've been saying, I said this for years. There's a reason why they call me the kid, aka the GOAT analyst. I told you this years ago. This dude is trash.
It's not trash.
Let's be real.
Izzy.
Let's be real. Rashford
let's
in
be honest.
2022 is an MBE merchant. He's an MBE merchant. That's all this dude is. This guy's brainless.
Wait,
Poor
no,
decision making. He runs in a freaking straight line. The guy he'll
no,
never be world class.
Cool. He will never be world class. That's
Yes.
that's an argument that I'm not gonna like fight you on. Cool in it, but he's not a trash. He's going through the worst form that he's ever been in his flipping life at the age of 24. When our players are allowed to go through that, listen. If you want to sell him, fair enough. But to say
KJ,
that
he's been going
that
through
he's
this
trash,
for several years,
it's
bro.
not. It's several years. Several years.
KJ,
In those several years,
apart from
he's
one or
been-
two anomalies, okay, one or two
one or
really
two
good games.
anomalies. There's two anomalies you're talking about. Were back to back. The 2 seasons before, when he was a kid, when he was like 18, 19, and 18 and 19 and 20. Like, what do you expect? What do you expect him to do at that age? He was coming to age. He had 2 brilliant seasons, and this season he has been dreadful. I will admit that. I love the guy, but he's been dreadful. But to say that he is trash again, he's hyperbolic. He's not trash. He's just through in poor form. Well, if that is that form to come back at United or not, that's a different conversation. But he is not trash, and I say that about most of our players.
Do you know what? Have hope. Sorry, Cole.
No, I was just saying that I just think that I think Rashford's a very tricky one. Like, I think it makes it even more frustrating just considering where United are anyway and how 90% of your players are performing. He's definitely been underperforming. I personally still think there's a player in there. I don't know how much you can say he's been developed since even under Ollie to now when he was even younger. I would stop short again as well saying he's trash. He's been crap this season, but you know, with all the injuries and the circumstances around it and the situation of United, it makes it much harder for me to honestly be so cutthroat around Rashford.
I tell you what,
I would be frustrated though. I would be.
I tell you what, yeah, listen, I'm very disappointed in him for so many reasons. I don't think he should be in the team. So I disagree with this report today from United players that he should be starting. He's done nothing to warrant a start and he shouldn't be. But what I find really frustrating about football fans is have hope. Do you rate Martial ability-wise?
Oh, ability-wise, yes. 100%.
So why do I see more disrespect and annoyance and criticism for Rashford for not delivering than Anthony Martial? And I'm going to follow the question up with some information, because in no other walk of life do more talented people get less stick for under-delivering than less talented people. If you're at school and you're bright and you're intelligent and you're failing in class, your teachers, your parents, people around you are harsher on you because you have the ability to do more. What I find very interesting about people that really dislike Rashford is they love Martials. They love Paul Pogba's. They love players with skyrocketed ability. But then criticize them less for failing than people they say are rubbish. How are you criticizing a rubbish player for being rubbish, but not a brilliant player in your eyes also being rubbish? That makes zero sense to me.
Okay, I'll explain it. And my thing, though, is we have to accept reality. Football isn't the workplace. Football isn't education. In an ideal world, you're right. Terry, 100%, you're right. Bad is bad and should be criticized. But we don't live in an ideal world. We live in the real world. And in the real world, football is its own world. And it's a separate entity from education and the workplace. The fact of the matter is, because we know how good Labille is, because we know how good Martial is, we will not criticize them as much as a Timo Werner or a Rashford. Because a Timo Werner and a Rashford, because these guys are crap and brainless players, we are just going to just say, look, these guys are brilliant players. Get these guys off my flipping screen. But that's not very quick. The thing about Rashford first of this, and I'll give it to you, is how hyped he was. If Rashford wasn't hyped, people wouldn't be speaking much. United fans talked and hyped about this guy.
I understand the hype. I understand the hype element. But I disagree with your thing about the workplace thing not being, or education not being comparable. The point is this: you think Timo Werner is brain dead. So that means going into a game, you have zero expectations of him to deliver because he's rubbish. If there's a player, though, over a 38-game season that you say has got every talent that Werner doesn't, and they deliver as many bad performances as Werner, surely your anger, your criticism has to be harsher on the person with the ability over someone that can't deliver. That's what doesn't make sense. I get your point. Really hyped kid doesn't reach the levels that you expect. A little bit like Eden Hazard when you said he'd go to Real Madrid and outperform what Cristiano Ronaldo did there. But yet there's zero criticism from you towards Eden Hazard, because with Eden Hazard, you will
injury
will
tax.
say, there's always an excuse and a reason.
So where's the injury tax for Rashford then?
What about Rashford's injuries? What about the change of managers? What about the bad structures of the club? That you just sat here for like 20 minutes and agreed that the way Man United is run is not like conducive with winning. I'm not adverse to giving Rashford criticism because I do it. What I find annoying is that the excuses that are given to more talented players are not given to the lesser talented players. And in every walk of life, that is arse about tit.
No, okay.
It's back.
Okay.
What's that place where the kid goes in Strange Things?
Stranger Things.
The upside down.
It's the upside down way of analyzing.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Analyzing things, my bro. Come on.
My quick response to that is that I feel that when I look at Timo Werner and Rashford, I think of like the single mother who has to do 3 jobs, 4 jobs, and so forth. And I think that these people are stealing money. So I just think that it's daylight robbery. Because that's the okay. Why does a single mother have to have 3 different jobs, and these clowns are stealing hundreds of thousands a week and nobody is saying anything about it? So I just think that Rashford and Werner, they're stealing money. So that's my annoyance.
Okay. I don't really get where you're coming from, but I thought you meant working class mums are stealing money. I was like, what's he saying here, bro? What angle is he going down now? What is an MBE merchant?
Basically what people do is they take someone's positive thing about them and then add merchant next to it and say that's the only reason why people like them. That is basically what it is. So Halfhope is saying the only reason why people like Marcus Rashford is because he's got an MBE for feeding the kids. That is what he's saying.
No. Please let me be on the record here. So don't clip me and make me look like a bad guy. What Rashford did for those starving kids is bloody amazing. Rashford, great trash player. Great guy.
But you know where you're wrong, though, that he's trash and only liked because of the MBE stuff. The only reason that he had the power and the influence to deliver the food and raise the awareness to get the MBE is because of how adored he was prior. If he wasn't liked and respected and had a lot of followers, he wouldn't have been able to do that. So, you call him an MBE merchant actually disproves your point.
I have no comment. No. I was gonna have a response, but I don't know. Like it's early. I haven't eaten. I haven't had my sushi yet. After my sushi, then I'll respond.
Remember that thing that Jordan Peterson did with that lady on Channel 4? That what you're saying is, got ya. But there we go. Only messing, my guys. In terms of the rest of the Champions League games this week, Liverpool. I mean, do we see any other shocks happening? You got Liverpool, Benfica, Man City versus Atletico in terms of the English teams playing. Any shocks in those games?
Nah.
Man.
Benfica are gonna get Lara Crofted most likely in both legs. If this game was in 2016, then it would be very interesting. In 2022. Atletico Madrid are defensive losers. It's probably one of their worst defensive seasons ever. Look, for me, bro, I told you, man, okay, I would love to see Lep Lodolo fall through, because I always said about Pep, I'm a card-carrying member of the Pep-hating society. Messi and Iniesta give him life. The guy hasn't sniffed a UCL since Messi, Iniesta gave this dude life. So I love see. There's nothing that gives me more joy than seeing United fail and Pep fail. But he doesn't fail. They beat
Atleti
easily.
People that robbed you of your childhood. That's basically why you don't like them, innit?
Oh no, yeah, and also United beat a 10-man Chelsea. Rain tax. Oh wait, so.
Oh, yeah, go tell that to John, innit? Like when he's crying and when he has nightmares about it.
Yeah, I don't see any shocks happening in there at all. Viewers, just so you know, we are sponsored today by Kitbag. You can get up to 65% off of official football shirts of your choice. You can see there's around about 7 hours, 42 minutes to go. Use promo code CONTROL to get up to 65% off. All the range of kits from Arsenal, Chelsea, right across the bat are there. There's also training equipment, football boots, and much, much more. can use the link in our description or the QR code on the screen right now.
Do not use that code to buy Man United gear. Do not buy anything from Manchester United.
Feel free-
KJ, don't say that, man. KJ, don't say
Feel
that.
free to buy
Have
from
hope.
Kitbag whatever you need to. Big up Kitbag. Thank you very much.
Keep back. I love you. Just stop selling United clothes. That's all I ask.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. But I don't see that happening at all. But there's not going to be a shock. City are going to be. It's Atletico City. Can anyone see?
No. They can. The biggest shock would be getting a 0-0 draw. That would be it. You know what I mean? Like we're not. Man City aren't United. We're not that. They're not that kind of team that can just give you an opening because we're just foolish at the back. They will be going and going and going at the defense, and by the time they blink, boom, it'll be 3, and it'll just be upsetting for them. And the next visit they have to Manchester will not be a nice one. That is for sure.
I don't think they defend that. I don't think they have the same kind of low block defensive skills that we expect from a Simeone Atleti's team in the last couple of years. Really, I think City will probably just turn them over. To be fair, I'm not saying that one of the games might not be a bit close when they go to Atleti's ground. Maybe, but I expect City to go through. I think the title one out of all 3 of the English ones is the Chelsea Real Madrid one. I think it's the title one. I expect Liverpool to go through. Expect City to. I think Chelsea will, but I don't expect it. I think it'll be a tight one, Chelsea.
All 3 English teams are going through. We're too powerful. As in the Premier League right now is too powerful, too quick. It's
right.
It's just
wait. You make you say that you're not. Wait, you make you say that Arsenal are not a part of that, or just
yes.
Okay, cool.
I want like English. Out. Oh, get out of here. Or Benfica to win it. Chelsea, get out of here.
Wait, Terry, quick question. So, because I know we're almost going to go. Like, okay, over the last 10 years, because this is what my subs keep talking to me about and everything. So, over the last 10 years, what has been the strongest league? If you say in the last 10 years, which has been the best league, the strongest league?
10 years
individually or within
10-year period.
From now back 10 years, I would probably argue you'd probably throw La Liga's got to be in the conversation with Champions League wise. Real Madrid, Barca, what have they won? They've got to won what 6, 5,
and also remember Europa League as well.
Sevilla.
Sevilla.
Yeah, you would say Spain in that time period. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, okay.
I think. I mean, I haven't looked at it to kind of research it. And then if you go back to the previous decade before that, I would say it weren't the whole decade, but if you go from like 2005 to around 2011, the English teams, the amount of finals we got to, all English finals, the amount of teams that, Liverpool won it, United won it, Chelsea won it, the finals and semi-finals we got to. Again, the English team was so dominant at that point. And then you had this period at the beginning of the teenies, as they're called. They've got to find a better word for it. You had like a little period where Dortmund and Bayern Munich were the two teams that were absolutely fine. These things go in these cycles.
No.
La Liga lasted for a long time.
No, because what I always say, because people say, okay, what's the best league? And there's this massive argument on Twitter between Premier League and La Liga. And for me, I say, like, it depends on what your criteria is. If your criteria is branding, marketing, popularity on fans, it's the Premier League. If your criteria is how well have they done against each other in elite European competition, it's La Liga. Because look at last year.
You see what you just done there? What you've done there is you took the Premier League and took things that are not football related and said, oh, that's what they're good at. And then took an example that is football related and said, that's what La Liga is better at. If you want to do both footballing examples, you got the Liga in terms of each other in Europe. Yes, that they're the better. But if you look at like the leagues in general, like which league has the most teams that can beat each other like on a weekly basis, the Premier League will beat the Liga.
So let me just answer your thing as well. The marketing thing and that again, that only works so far. I can come up with the best, you could make for your YouTube channel the best adverts, the best graphics, the best everything. If the content's poor, people don't come back. So the reason that the Premier League, the reason that TV companies around the world spend more money on the Premier League than any other league is because their viewers find it engaging and they're going to make profits from it. The Liga viewers has decreased over the past 10 years in Spain. In their own country, less people are watching it now than 10 years ago. Somebody's preference on the style of football a certain league or nations play is almost irrelevant to me. It's a bit like this. If you have an argument with me about who the best rapper is in the world, and the guy you think the best is has sold 10 million albums, but the guy I think is the
J.
best
Cole.
has sold 150 million albums, your preference is fine, but in reality, you're wrong. You can't be better than someone that outperforms you, outsells you, bigger tours than you. The one that has the most fans is the better individual, in my view. Awards can be a big thing in that industry as well. The Premier League is a better league in multiple areas. But something I tweeted today that fascinates me, and I want to read my tweet out. It's easier to read it than it is to kind of reiterate it in another way. I see this from a lot of people. They pick Premier League teams to support, which is fine. I don't care where you're born. I don't care where you're from. You want to support a Premier League team, that's your choice. You've got a right to do it. Welcome. It's all good. But I want to just read this out and see if anyone can make this make sense to me. I've got to find the tweet now. I said, why do some people choose to support a football club in a league they don't rate, with media outlets they distrust, where that nation has a style of football they don't enjoy, in a country that they openly despise, with fellow supporters they loathe? I see so many people support Premier League teams, but they hate England as a country. They hate the media here. They don't like English football fans. They don't like the style of football about the Premier League.
How true is that, though? How many people support Premier League teams?
But you're loads. Just the amount of people like you are a Chelsea fan. But if someone says, I think the Prem's better than La Liga, you get angry about it. You don't like England as a footballing nation. You don't think we're that good as a Premier League compared to other people.
Don't use me as an example. I'm an anomaly. I'm an anomaly, man. Come on, I'm just a guy.
There's loads of people like you.
They're not. There aren't people like me.
I don't understand it. I don't understand this logic. You pick to support a club, and everything about that, where that club is situated, you dislike. Why don't you just pick a La Liga club to support and enjoy yourselves?
Terry, don't do that to me.
Time.
No, wait, hold on. I've got to respond. Terry, you can't pay me like this. You can't do me like this. No, look, here's the thing. The reason I gravitate towards Chelsea is it goes back to the whole marketing thing. I began to support Chelsea when I was living in Nigeria. So here I'm living in Nigeria in the mid-90s. And what is the league that is shown the most? It's the Premier League. Now, that's obviously the relationship that Nigeria has with England. But because the Premier League was so big and they put so much into marketing, what was on most of our TV screens in Nigeria was Chelsea. So my brother, United fan, other brother, Arsenal fan, and I was, hey, Zola is my favorite player. I love Zola. I'm going to follow Chelsea because Zola is my favorite player. So it was because of the marketing and the promotion that the Premier League had, which was greater than every other league, which is why it goes back to the marketing thing.
I understand that, right? But I understand. Someone says, Terry, you don't have to love England to enjoy fish and chips. No, you don't.
England did invent fish and chips, relax.
But that's too broad an example. But if you like fish and chips, but you don't like salt and vinegar, you don't like potatoes, and you're allergic to fish, you wouldn't eat it. Like, if I look at it this way. If I say I can't stand how hip-hop music sounds, I don't like hip-hop artists. I think they're arrogant. The style, the way they dress is horrendous. I cannot stand the people that like hip-hop. They all walk around like they're this. They all walk around like that. It's just great, horrible. Nasty music, aggressive, horrible. Can't stand it. What are you doing tonight, Till? I'm going to watch Drake. I look an idiot. Like
Drake's not a rapper. Drake's not a rapper.
Okay, you get my point though, right? If you don't like something, why do you immerse yourself in it? Like, it's just one of the things that confuses me. I get your point. You picked it when marketing was the way it was, but there's so many people that. Do you understand? I don't know if Colleen or KJ, you see this anywhere. It's like you don't seem to like anything about even your own club. Sometimes the Premier League.
Bro, I love Terry. No, Terry, you wouldn't do this to me. I love England. I love Queen Lizzie.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking in general. I see people that hate it. It's like, why don't you go support someone somewhere? I don't get it.
It's like the people who complain about the English hype of English players within England. I'm like, well, where else are they going to get the hype from? Flipping Spain. No, you know what I mean? Like they're from England.
I think everyone is a hypocrite to a degree. Like, again, use the rap example. There are a lot of people who love rap who are racists. Trust me. Go to some all-white places and people who I love rap, they play rap. Put a black person next to them, they'll freaking jump to Mars. So we're all hypocrites.
And I do get that. I do get that, right? And I understand exactly where you're coming from. By the way, I do love some of you old heads in the thing that are like, oh, Drake, he's not even a hip-hop artist. I don't really care because it's not really my genre that I listen to on a regular basis.
What do you listen to, Terry? What genre?
Well, I do listen to Drake. I've got albums from all types.
Who's your favorite artist, Terry? Who's your favorite artist?
My favorite artist of all time, probably Stevie Wonder.
Oh,
Michael Jackson's up there, Stevie Wonder. I'm listening.
Wait. Black Mike or White Mike? or both?
All Mike. But in fairness, like
Two different artists.
yeah, I mean, Black Michael, my favorite Michael Jackson album is Off the Wall. So
It's
yeah,
Black Mike. It's Black Mike. There we
I'll tell you
go.
what I'm listening to at the minute. If you want to listen, great artist, Sam Cooke, absolutely impeccable. I like a lot of music like that. But equally, I've got albums from Drake, Jay-Z. I've been listening to a guy as a rapper. I can't remember his name now. I literally, you know, when they recommend something for you. He has a song called Black Spider-Man.
Black
No, I don't know.
Spider.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, he's a rap artist. It's a really good song.
No, actually, no. I have two recommendations for people.
Logic is his name.
Oh, Logic.
Oh, Logic,
yeah,
that
yeah,
dude.
he's
Oh,
Logic,
good.
yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, so I listen to him. Like I just random, and I don't really care whether it's funny really because I don't read anything to do with music. So I don't know when I listen to a music song. I don't know whether this person is credible, popular, liked by people. It's just more myself. I've grown out of that habit of caring what people think about my music.
Yeah. No. Music is music. Music is
I'm
music.
36 years old. I don't need another person to validate what I like. You know what I mean? Like I listened to Michael Bublé's new album the other day because again I like that type of music. I like a bit of swing. And
And it's not Christmas time. You're a madman.
mate, no, his new album's got two of my favorite songs from Tony Bennett on there. So I was like, again, I listen to people like Tony Bennett. Yeah, my music taste is, I wouldn't call it weird. It's what I like.
And also, side note, Beyonce is overrated, by the way. She's never released a good album.
no.
So-
To be fair, you're not the first person I've met to say that. But
Do I listen to-
she's the GOAT.
Do I listen to drill? No, do you know what it is? Things with drill and stuff, I'll be honest with you, it's like, it's not my age group. So, like, even my pals that grew up where I did in East London, like, they might listen to a bit, but it's just not our thing. Do you know what I mean? We're of the garage age group where and I've hit a point with music as well where I've stopped kind of listening to new things. Like, artists I like might get new music, but I'm cut off now where I am. So when DJ Spoonie releases another Garage Classics album with an orchestra, I'll buy it. You know what I mean? It's one of them ones. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at there. Some people's comments are so weird. Terry,
Wait, is that actually an Anita or a fake one?
what one?
I think Anita's cussing have hope about the Beyonce
Are
comment.
you mad? Yeah, no. He must be mad.
No.
Like,
I'll say no, bro. Bring the Beehive, bring the Queen Bees and unsolved that she is overrated and she's never released a quality album. And Solange's album is better than all albums that Beyonce released. She sits at the table. These are the facts of life. Don't argue. It's not an
don't
opinion,
say
it's a fact.
that, mate. Don't say that.
It's a fact. I'm
Don't
sorry, it's a
say
fact.
It's not a fact. It's an opinion.
No, it's a fact. It's a fact.
It's an opinion. It's funny, really, because someone had we always get at least 2 or 3 comments when we do straight facts. But I can't believe you. You're not speaking facts. You're giving opinions. I'm like, if you don't see what we're doing with the title of the show, again, that's on you. Remember, people, we are sponsored today by Kitbag, up to 65% off of their official football kits, training kits, football boots, and much, much more. Use the QR code on the screen or the link in the description below with promo code CONTROL to get up to 65% off today. You only got a few hours to get that done as well. You've got like 7.5 hours left remaining until that runs out. So at the end of this show, go and get that done. Get your orders in. What's this conversation? I picture Terry as a Peter Andre fan. See, this is what's interesting about that. It's interesting you say that. So Peter Andre, you got to remember, I'm not a fan per se. Peter Andre, Spice Girls, Hans, all these. But I was a child when these songs came out. So I wouldn't go to a concert or even buy an album, but I kind of like it when a song comes on because it's nostalgic.
You know when Mysterious Girl comes on, Terry is on the floor, fam.
But you know what? Because you're not like 10 or so years younger than me. I don't know when you were like between 8 and say 12. You know when primary school, early
School
senior,
discos and that.
Yeah, but when life's just completely stress free because you don't have that, like there's no emotion, you haven't hit puberty yet. Songs from that time are just they take me back to a really good place. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, and Peter Andre and the Spice Girls, they were just what was
Spice Girls.
Well, the Spice Girls were massive when I was growing up.
Oh, not the Spice Girls. They have a few tunes.
They were massive.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want, boy.
No. Wait. I'll tell this though. Guilty pleasure, and this is my only guilty pleasure song on my playlist. Britney Spears, Sometimes. That's a track.
Wait, toxic.
That's a track.
Toxic. Britney Spears, Toxic is a tune, fam.
No.
Whack
Britney
that
Spears,
on, fam.
Sometimes. That's a track. Apart from that, for something, that's a
You know,
track.
it was crazy, right? There was a kid that lived on a couple of roads down from the estate I grew up on, and when Britney Spears first kind of burst onto the scene, he used to tell everyone that was like a second or third cousin kind of removed type thing of his, and he knew her and had met her. Everyone just said, "You're lying, bruv. Like, you're literally living next to a council estate in the shit end of nowhere in East London, and you're saying that Britney Spears is your cousin. You're a liar." Anyway, years and years went by. Maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, man put a Facebook post up. He was like, just chilling in the States with my family, and there she was, like, with this family meal, having dinner. She was just sat on the table. I was like, we called him a liar for like 20 odd years, and he was telling us the truth. Funny old world. I did DM him. He didn't DM me back.
Wait. Sorry, bring up. There was a super chat of a guy that was trying to insult me about Bob Marley.
Oh yeah. Samuel has been wanting this to be put on screen for time.
HH, you're a brick for saying Bob. And I stand by. Bob Marley was overrated. He wasn't that great a reggae artist. All his songs were overrated,
I
bro.
think you're also anti-Jamaican with that comment. Just saying.
How good was Bob Marley really? How good was he really?
Amazing.
Nah.
I mean,
He's transcended time, mate.
Yeah.
That's how you know the greatest artist ever. When, if you like, for me, like Freya was singing along to a song I was listening to the other day, which is 57 years old, and I'm like, that's why you know it's a great song, because you play it now for kids and they like it, or they're like, oh, that's good, you know, it's great. And Bob Marley is one of those seminal artists. Like, Bob Marley's music in 100 years is still going to be getting played. The same as Stevie Wonder, the same as David Bowie, the same as Elvis, the same as the Beatles, Michael
Elvis.
Elvis's music will be played.
It's just screaming.
Yes, Elvis's music will be played in 100 years' time still.
Wait, you know, me and Elvis have a weird relationship because I know where his music came from and he's not him. I'm like, but he does it so well.
No. KJ, he's a thief. That guy's a thief. Man,
he's a thief. No, I know he's a thief.
He's a thief. Not a thief. He's a thief.
You know, it's funny, right, about the whole like Elvis thing. I didn't know about any of that because I'm not an Elvis fan. I personally don't like his music, even though I know he's great. But I was watching a stand-up show, Bill Burr, and Bill Burr was obviously I don't know if everyone knows it. Bill Burr's married to a black lady.
Oh yeah.
He often talks about like arguments they have, and he said they were watching a TV show all about Elvis's music, and she was moaning about it like his leg shake being stolen, and obviously Bill Burr tells a great joke surrounding it type of thing. And then I went and watched the same documentary, I went and found it, and I was like, oh my god, like that's mental. But yeah, but his music will be listened to. People will listen to and play that in 100 years' time. It's no doubt. Tupac is the GOAT. Like, Tupac's great. Do you know what I mean?
He also thinks that too.
And he would have at least punched Chris Rock. Do you know what I'm saying? At least.
Oh yeah.
One of the funniest pictures I've ever seen musically as well was I saw crazy picture in the early 90s. Robbie Williams at a party in LA sitting next to Tupac. I don't know if you've ever seen that picture. It's just so weird. It's like to put the two in the same room together is crazy. No one listens to Elvis. That's not true. I still think Elvis sells something like 5 million records a year. So I think they do. Whether people like it or not, they do. This guy is obviously attention seeking. Yeah, they think you're an attention seeker. Have hope.
Well, he didn't say the name have hope though. So
you know he means you.
Everyone knows he's talking about.
No, it could be Colleen. So why? It could be
because he's a he, because Colin's a he, and that.
Okay, could be Terry. It could be Terry.
This is the best comment, right? Terry, clearly have hope is not only blind but he's deaf too.
How about you get a better name, D Loser, whatever your name is, with a dumbass tick in your name. Like, why did you put like a band symbol next to your name, moron?
All right, mate.
Deep.
I know, very deep.
No, you're not gonna insult me. I'm not gonna respond to you insulting me, man. So
you did respond. Hang on, he's turned up. He's an hour and a half late, but Igao is here.
Wait, what are you doing here, boy?
Did you oversleep?
Bro, I've been sick. So sorry.
Oh wow.
Fez.
Sorry,
All right, mate. It's all right. No, I'm literally about to say, we're gonna end the show, but very quick before we go, you're gonna win tonight. Gal.
Hopefully we do. We just need to be consistent and put in the same performances we've been putting in over the last couple of weeks, and I do think we're gonna get the result.
Oh, whatever.
There we. No, he's talking about the Bob Marley comment, Gal. Bob Marley is the greatest reggae artist of all time.
According to who? Media. Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
Do you know what I would say, according to true fans of reggae, they would probably rank him as the GOAT.
I asked my cousin's partner is Jamaican, and I asked her, "What do people think about Bob Marley in Jamaica?" She said that no one listens to Bob Marley in Jamaica.
Yeah, but do you know why?
No one
though?
listens to Jamaica.
Yeah,
Bob
do
Marley
you
in
know
Jamaica.
why? It's not because he's bad. It's because over there, like artists are like they go to each other's houses and like they're friends with everyone. So like it's to them, it's just Bob. You know what I mean? Like it's just Bob
No,
singing.
but no one is checking for Bob Marley. She said that no one checks for Bob Marley in Jamaica. So that's what I'm saying. So the home of reggae, people don't view him as that great in Jamaica itself. I told you the Bob
But they're
Marley
not
thing.
checking for you
he
too
aight.
either, bruv. Like you know what I mean?
Wait, have hope. Are you Jamaican?
Do I look Jamaican? Do I talk Jamaican? All right, I'm green, white, and green,
So
Nigerian to the core. Do I look Jamaican? Do I sound Jamaican to you, Eagle?
But how are you speaking for Jamaican people then?
Bruv, have you
Because
seen the
I know
suits?
Jamaicans, and in
Have you
Jamaica they
seen
say
the
Bob Marley.
suits? Have you seen the suits that Have Hope wears? No Jamaican man I know would do that to themselves. You know
Do
what
you
I
know
mean?
how good the seats are? You know, what's the custom made? Custom made. No, Egal. I know Jamaican people and say in Jamaica, no one checks for Bob Marley in Jamaica. He's only famous outside of Jamaica. So how good of a reggae artist can you be if in the home of reggae, no one is even checking for you?
Well,
This
you
is the
clearly
facts of
know
life.
the-
I'm
a
sorry.
hater
The
of
truth
Bob
hurts.
Marley.
I know the truth hurts. I know. I get it.
Listen, everyone, we've come to the end of the show because I've got to go pick my kids up. Make sure you scan the QR code on the screen. Check out Kitbag, 65% off official merchandise of all Premier League clubs and wider club teams as well. La Liga, the Bundesliga, and much, much more. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.